on every issue.
They specifically alienated themselves.
I don't think it's
And like,
I don't. You wonder like what's going on in the police out there. You know, it's like basically Jehovah's Witnesses don't even feel like that. So I mean, it's like not just the word, but you're not like asking for a quarter. Yeah. That's they go to convert people. Yeah,
Trickle down economics. Trickle down economics. World peace. The country is coming apart at the seams. This country is not coming apart at the seams. The country is coming apart at the seams. This country is not coming apart at the seams. We're the United States of America. We can do it much, much better. I would hate to be running for president. Next to the big crowd. Next to the big crowd. You don't have any equipment to run that full through and do it. I'm sorry. Sure enough. I'm sorry. Sure enough. Read my lips. Can I make a mistake out? I just don't think that's right. The party's over. This is the winner. The party's over. This is the winner. You have to question my patriotism. I didn't question man's patriotism. You have to question my patriotism. I didn't question man's patriotism. I was a Gulf War.
Have you heard? Or do I have to tell you? I've heard nothing about anyone dear to us, good or bad. Not since the time we were robbed of our two brothers. Dead in one day and each in the other's hand. All I know is that the enemy is withdrawn from the walls of Thebes. I knew that you hadn't heard it. That's why I wanted to speak to you here in private, when no one can hear us. What is it? Trouble you do not need to tell me. Ismene, what do you think it is? Creon has just decided to give one of our brothers a hero's burial honors, and lets the other rot. Eteocles, he says, is to be buried with all the religious rites due to the noble dead. But the other, Polynices, is to be left unmourned, unburied, to be food for carrion birds. Well, soon the king himself will be here to proclaim it clearly to all the citizens of our country. This is no idle threat, Ismene. The punishment for whoever disobeys the laws of public stoning. So you have it. Now is the time to show whether we are worthy of our noble blood. Not. My poor sister. If this order is indeed as you say, what then can we do or undo? We can help each other. In what way? We can bury the body together. You cannot mean that. Bury him, that is against the law. The law is the law, and that is all it is. I will do my part. You see, now your brother as well as mine, I will not desert him. How can you dare when Creon so expressly forbids it? He has no right to keep me from my own. Antigone, have you forgotten how our father died? Shame and scorn. Blinding himself with his own hand for his awful sin. And then, his mother, his wife. What should I call her? Destroyed herself with the noose. Now our two brothers, both in the same day, fallen to the ground together in each of the other's hand. Here we two are left. Think how our life must end more miserably than all the rest. In defiance of the law, we disobey Creon's will. Let us not forget, Antigone. We were born women. And as such, we cannot fight men. We must obey our masters in this and in worse than this. May the dead forgive me. I can do no other than what I am told. To do otherwise is madness. No. Then I will never ask for your help again. Nor shall I ever accept it, even if you offer. Go your own way. I will bury my brother. If I die for it, I'll be glad to die beside him who I've loved. We have little time to please the living, Ismene, but all of eternity to honor the dead.
thunder, he fled. He fled with the roar of a fierce battle behind him. Zeus, our heavenly Father, heard the invaders' victorious cry over our ramparts.
Struck him with his fire. Down fell the proud one. He who lately was raging against us.
His last tempestuous hate was destroyed by the gods who fought on our side.
Now, since victory of glorious name has come to us, with a joy responsive to the joy of thieves, let us enjoy forgetfulness after the war. Let us visit the temples of the gods in the night of long dance and song. Let Bacchus, whose dancing shakes the earth, be our leader.
Now that the gods have brought our city safe through the storm of trouble to tranquility, I have asked you here to speak with you all. Knowing that you were the most loyal subjects when King Laius reigned, and when King Oedipus so wisely ruled that even after his death, you faithfully served his sons. Now, the two have fallen, both slayers, both slain. Now I, the last of their kin, possess the throne and all its power. I rule this land and I am its king. Yes! No man can be fully recognized in deed and in thoughts until he has been tested by his rulings and lawmaking. A king who does not open himself to the best counsels, seals his lips, unwilling to seek advice, I think of him as base. And no less law is a man who puts a friend above his country. I have no regard for him. Now I, God be witness to this, when I see danger threatening the well-being of my people, no matter what it may be, I shall stand against it. Yes! And I shall never consider my country's enemy as a friend. I think of our country as our life. Only when it is safe from trouble may we have any friends at all. In case of this occurrence, I have made the following proclamation concerning the sons of Oedipus. Eteocles, who died defending his country against invasion, shall be honored with all the burial rites due to a noble death. Yes. But the other, his brother Polynices, who returned from exile intending to burn and destroy his fatherland, to drink the blood of his kin. He has had no grave, no burial, and no mourning. He's lying on the ground, unburied, unhonored, left to be food for the dog.
Let it rot.
I am determined to do everything possible to see that evil will never triumph over good. Let it be known, he who defies this command shall be rewarded with a dishonorable death. Whereas the one who proves to be a faithful servant to his country shall have my honor in his life and in his death.
Creon, our king, you have spoken justly. For those who have died and those who remain, your will is law.
Then see to it that this law is upheld. I have assigned watchers over the corpse already.
Then what is it that you wish from us?
That you do not take side with the breakers of the law.
No man would be so foolish as to choose death.
Aha, indeed, this is the penalty. But there are always those who betray their country for money.
My lord, if I am out of breath, it is not because I rushed running here.
On the contrary, many a time I pause thinking.
Why hurt your death, you fool?
So I stopped.
and heard myself saying,
Hush, you idiot! If Creon hears this news from someone else, you are surely dead.
Thus,
Making a long journey up a short road.
I delayed my arrival
And now here I stand.
before you to bring you the news.
Will I tell it?
For I come with good intentions.
So I should not suffer anything but my fate.
And what is your news?
To begin with,
I should say that.
I did not do it, nor did I see who did.
And it is not right that I should take the blame for it.
You speak with such precaution that one is bound to think you have some strange news.
One thinks twice.
Before telling bad news,
Well, you protected yourself against the blame. Speak now, and let us be done with you.
It's like this, sir.
the corpse, it has been buried
Someone has scattered dry dust over it.
and gone.
What? The corpse has been covered with dust? Against my strict orders? Who dared attempt such an action?
I do not know.
There was no sign of pick,
No shovel.
no trace of a wheel.
The ground was dry and hard.
The door left no trace of himself.
When the first guard showed it to us, we were amazed.
The corpse was hidden from sight.
Not in the grave, but with a layer of earth upon it. It looked as if it was the act of some pious spirit.
Immediately, we blamed each other for the act. Guard accusing guard. Any of us could have done it.
But it could not be proven against any of us.
We all denied any knowledge of the deed.
We were all ready to take the red-hot iron into our hands.
To walk through
To
fire.
swear by the gods in heavens that we have not done it and know no one who has.
At last, when our search proved useless,
When we were about to come to blows with one another.
one of us said something that made us all tremble with fear.
What he said was that this must be reported to the king.
We all agreed. But no one volunteered to bring the news.
So we had to draw lots between us.
And I, the unluckiest of all,
Was chosen to bring the news to you.
see, here I am.
About as pleased to be here as I know you are to see me.
No one has any love for the one who brings bad news.
My lord, I have feared it from the very beginning that this could prove to be the work of heaven.
Keep your tongue, or I shall lose my patience. You are saying nothing but blasphemy to say that God took care for that corpse. Or do you think of God so low as to side with the wicked? No, it cannot be. I have known it from the beginning that there is a certain group of malcontents in the city who are not satisfied with the state of things and rebel against my God, shaking their heads in secret, not keeping their necks under the yoke. Those who have sold themselves for money. Then I must assure that sooner or later they will have to suffer under my rage and anger, for I will not endure their base act. And you, the bearer of this news, if you do not find the perpetrator of this crime, I swear, death alone shall not be enough for you. You shall first be hung alive. So your torture will be a lesson for those in this town who had allowed themselves to even think of disobeying the law. So go now and grasp that wicked man who committed such treachery.
May I speak?
Or shall I just turn and go?
Every word you speak stings me even more.
Where does it hurt?
In your ears?
In your heart.
What does it matter to you where my pain is?
I may offend your ears, but it is the criminal who troubles your soul.
You are a born babbler, that I can see now.
But not the one who broke the law.
Yes, and even more, if you have sold your soul to evil.
Alas,
It makes me sad to see the judge.
you should so easily misjudge.
Well, may heaven help me find him.
But if he is caught or no,
He'll never be seen around here
I
again.
thought I would never see another
But
day.
now that I'm free,
Thank the
I
gods.
shall keep as far away as I can.
This earth is full of wonders,
And the greatest of them is man. Rides along the wavy oceans and travels along the stormy paths.
And Earth, the eldest of the gods, this immortal, has submitted willingly to him as he plows through year after year.
Mankind, who is the Lord of all living
And
things.
master of the birds and the beasts.
And the creatures of the air and the sea.
We gotta keep trying. Swimming in our own blood. Never come today. Now it's time to act.
She has put us of speech and the use of the brain. He created the laws of living together and learned the art of building cities and shelters against disaster.
There is nothing beyond her power.
He has resource for all.
Against chance, against danger. Yes, there is nothing she cannot challenge nor overcome. And yet, he is so helpless against death. When he shall call in vain for aid, it is only death that he shall never conquer.
On the floor. Murder race on anyone. On the floor. That's a thing of repentance. Murder race on anyone. On the floor. Murder race on anyone. Now it's time to act. That's a thing of repentance. Never come today. Swimming in our own blood. Murder race on anyone. We gotta keep trying. We gotta keep trying.
And it is this wonder still of a man that drives him now to evil, now to good. When he honors the laws of his land and upholds the justice he is sworn to by the gods, his city stands proudly. But when his rashness dwells in sin, in his solitary pride, he shall never think of himself as a friend of mine.
My lord,
There is nothing against which one should pledge his word before having considered the matter over.
on the second thought, I grew the first judgment to be wrong.
When you threatened me before, I swore that I would never be seen around here again.
But yet the joy of a surprise. Pleasure brings me here against my own oath.
And I come here bringing this girl whom we captured honoring the dead.
There was no casting of lots this
The
time.
reward was mine.
And no one else's.
And now,
My
you
king.
take her yourself, question her.
Judge her as you wish.
Give me the right to be free and out of this trouble.
And your prisoner, how and where did you find her?
She was bearing the man.
And that is the truth.
Are you sure of what you are saying? Do you mean your words?
I saw her bury the corpse that you had forbidden to bury.
Is that plain and clear?
And how was she seen? How was she taken in the act?
It is as follows.
When I got back to the place, with all of your threats ringing in my ears,
I swept away the dust that had covered the corpse and left it
I buried the body well and sat on top of the hill,
back to the wind.
so the smell of rotten flesh did not strike me.
I watched.
I was well alert, keeping a careful eye on the body.
This went on for some hours, until the sun stood mid-sky, and the heat began to burn.
Suddenly a whirlwind lifted from the earth a storm of dust, stripping the trees of their leaves as if it was a plague sent down by the gods.
I had just shut my eyes to bear it.
And after a long time the storm passed, I saw this girl screaming like an angry eagle.
Seeing the naked body, she screamed louder and louder, and called down curses upon the one who had disturbed the body.
She then picked the dry earth up in her hand, and pouring it out of a fine bronze urn that she had brought with her, made her offering 3 times to the dead.
I saw this, and ran down to catch her.
I captured her, she did not suspect at all.
I then charged her with what had happened before, and she did not deny it.
I felt.
I then charged her with what had happened before, and she did not deny it.
I felt both happy and sad at the same time.
Happy, for I've escaped her punishment.
And sad because I had to bring someone else into this trouble
But there is nothing I would not do.
to keep myself from harm.
And you who sits here so quietly, what have you to say? Do you deny this act?
I make no denial.
You may go now. I declare you clear of all the charges concerning this act. Now tell me, and make it brief. Did you know that I have issued an order forbidding the burial of that corpse?
How could I help it? Everybody knew.
Yet, you dare defy the law.
That order did not come from heaven, and people of justice have no such law among them. You are only a man, Creon, and your edict was not so absolute as for me to override the unwritten, unalterable laws of heaven. These are the everlasting, timeless laws. No one knows when they were first put forth. Guilty against God, I will not be for any man on this earth. I know I must die. With or without your order, Creon, your law draws fate very near. So much the better. Living in daily torment as we do here, I should be happy to die. If I was to let my mother's son, the son of this land, lie there and rot, well, I would have been less than many others, and that I could not bear.
You shall see soon enough that the over-stubborn spirit is soon humbled. It is the hardest iron that you often see snap under the pressure of heat. I have known wilder horses brought under the yoke by a little girl. There is no pride in becoming your neighbor's slave. And you have been already insolent by transgressing the laws that have been set forth. And now, to add insult to injury, you stand here and gloat over your deed. No, Antigone. You shall not flout my order with impunity. Were you my own child, you will not escape my full punishment.
Full punishment. What more would you take from me than my life?
Not a thing. When I have that, I have all I want.
Then let us not waste time, Creon. I have buried my brother. That is an honorable thing. Everyone here would cheer me if they were not dumb with fear. But government, among so many blessings, has the power to say and do whatever it likes.
You are wrong. None of my people think the way you do.
Oh, yes, they do. They do not dare tell me so.
Then why be different? Are you not ashamed?
I see no shame in having honored my brother.
Was not the one who died with him also your brother?
Yes, he was.
So you honor one and insult the other.
He who is dead will not accuse me of that.
Yes, he will, if you honor him no more than the traitor.
It was not a slave, but his brother who died with him.
Attacking his country while the other defended it?
It makes no difference. Death adds these rights.
An enemy can never be a friend, even if he was a brother.
But I was born to share my love, not my hate.
Who then ensure your love among the dead? I will have no woman's law here while I live. And you, crawling viper lurking in my house, secretly draining my blood. I did not know that I was nurturing two pests, two traitors to rise against my throne. Speak. Will you also confess in taking part in her act, or do you deny all knowledge of it?
Yes, I have done it. She lets me share the charge. I'm as much to blame as she is.
No, that is not true. You did not consent to the deed, nor did I give you any part in my act.
But I'm not ashamed to stand beside you now that you face your trial.
The deed was mine. The living and the dead are my witnesses.
No, sister, do not reject me now. Let me die with you and duly honor the dead.
You will not die with me, nor shall you claim what you have not done. One death will suffice.
can I bear living while you are dead?
Ask Creon. Is he not the one you cared for?
What good does it do you to taunt me so?
You're right. It is only with pain that I mock you.
Tell me, how can I help you?
Save yourself. I do not hold any grudges against you.
Shall I have no share in your fate?
Your choices maybe was to live, and mine to die.
At least your choice was not made without my protest.
But one side approves of your wisdom, the other mine.
And now we are both on the wrong side. We are both condemned.
Do not worry. You will live. But my life has long since been mingled with death.
These two women are both mad. One has been newly crazed, the other from birth.
Did the strongest mind that's doomed to break under misfortune flow?
Yours dead, ever since you mingled your life with hers.
How can I bear living without my sister's presence?
Oh, your sister. You have no sister. She's dead.
You would kill your son's appointed bride.
There are other fields for him to plow.
There can never exist a love is
No son of
dead.
mine will win such a wild creature.
Oh, even my love. And your father does you wrong.
Enough of you and your lover.
Will you indeed take your son away from his love?
It's death that takes you.
You are determined, it seems, that she shall die.
Determined? Yes, indeed. Away with her.
And it is ambition that drives some men to good, but draws many to the lure of giddy desires.
How well was it said that evil seems good to he who finds God's destination?
And how short a time he has before his suffering comes.
Here comes Heman, the last pure son of Creon.
Is he to speak the sorrow for the doom of his promised bride Antigone?
We shall know soon, better than the seers could tell. My son, you have surely heard my final judgment on your late betrothed. Have you come and raised against your father? But do I still have your goodwill?
Father, I am yours, and you in your wisdom trace for my life rules that I must follow. I will not consider any marriage as a greater gain than your good guidance.
Rightly spoken, my son. Your father's will should be always your heart-fixed law. It is for this that men pray, to see obedient, loyal children grow up in their home. Children who stand against their father's foe and honor his friend. This girl is an enemy. Let her go and find a mate in death. Let her go with lolly, as if she were your enemy. For I have taken her alone of all the city in open disobedience. I shall not make myself a traitor to my people. She must die. Let her appeal to the gods if she will. I will not forgive her. For if I tolerate a traitor in my home, how shall I rule the ones abroad? For he who rules his own house strongly may be a fair ruler to his state. Disobedience is the worst of all evils. It is this that ruins cities, that makes homes desolate. It is this that breaks the ties of our lives. Therefore, we must support order and not betray our rulers, especially for a woman. If yield we must, then let us yield to our man. Let no one call us any woman's underpants.
Father, wisdom is a gift of the gods. The greatest thing we can call our own. I am not, nor do I wish to be, clever enough to prove you wrong. Yet another man may think differently. It is my duty to watch on your behalf all that men say or do in blaming you, since the fear of your frown forbids the citizens to speak such words that may offend you. I can hear the whispers in the dark, the mourning in the city for this woman. No woman, they say, ever merited her doom less. None ever was to die so shamefully for an act so glorious as hers. A woman who, if her brother had fallen in bloody battle, would not let him go unburied to be devoured by flies. Should she not deserve a golden crown of honor instead? Such are the secret words spread in the dark around town. My father, there is nothing more that I want for your happiness and your welfare, or indeed, anything more a son can desire for his father, a father for his son. Therefore I beg you, do not let your first judgment be your last. Do not think that your word and yours alone is the right. Father, any man thinks that his wisdom is the only one. When words end in thought, he has no peer. It betrays a shallow spirit and an empty heart. It is no weakness for a wise man to know when he is wrong. He must yield. Father, pause for a moment. Put aside your anger. And although I am younger, do consider my words. For it is elite to have infallible wisdom, and in its absence, the willingness to listen to wise advice is best.
My lord, it seems the young man has some good points in his words that could be of some profit.
Indeed. Am I to take lessons at my age from a boy?
Nothing that is not right. If I am young, you should look at my merits and not my age.
And you should call this right? To admire an act of disobedience?
I would never suggest that the guilty should be honored.
And is she not infected with this disease?
The people of Thebes do not think so.
The people of Thebes? Since when do I take my order from the people of Thebes?
Listen to that. Look who's being childish now.
Is the state to listen to any voice but mine?
Does the state belong to only one man?
Does not every state belong to its ruler?
You'd make a great monarch on a desert island.
It seems like you're taking sides with this woman.
No, unless you're the woman. It is your side I am taking.
When every word you say is against me, shame on you to carry an open feud with your father.
Only because I see you offending justice.
Do I offend justice when I respect my own authority?
How can you respect it then when you trample on the god's honor?
You despicable creature, you yielded your place to a woman.
At least I do not give way to temptation.
Take the word you speak, please, with that woman.
And for you and me and our country.
You will never have her this side of the grave.
If she must die, she will not die alone.
Have you become so bold as to make open threats?
Threat to argue against justice?
You shall soon pay for the lesson you will learn about justice.
Oh, were you not my father, I would have called you a fool.
You woman slave, don't try to wheedle me with such talk.
Oh, Father, I was all... Father!
Bring that hated woman in. Let her suffer before his eyes in his presence. Let her die at her bridegroom's side.
No! That side I will never see. Nor will you ever see my face again. So raise have more patience.
He left in angry haste, my lord. A young man with such passion may act fiercely.
Let him go and do what he may, but he will not save them from their fate.
Do you mean to destroy them both?
No, no, no. Not the one whose hands are clean. The other, the guilty one. There. Wall her up in a cave with enough food to acquit ourselves from the chains of her blood. Let her appeal to death, to the gods she so clearly loves, and ask them for mercy.
Love, the unequal, the unconquerable in battle. Love, the fate that no man can escape. Love, the conqueror of hearts, the power that cannot be matched. Love, in the farthest corners of the earth, in the midst of the oceans. Love, wherever you enter, men shall be wounded, and in whomever's heart your spear settles, he shall suffer and enjoy his suffering. Love, the vigorous pathos that drives men to witless ruins, and the light that burns in the eyes of the lover. Love is the fire that consumes his entity, for Aphrodite spreads her will on men.
Now I too am carried beyond the bounds of my loyalty, for I can no longer hold back streaming tears when I see Antigone is thus carried to her death.
See me, people of Thebes, led on my last journey, looking my last on sunlight. I am going now to my nest, where death shall take me across the silent river. No marriage music. Death shall be my bridal dower.
Glorious
Lady,
Praise
and honor
go with you.
to your
Resting place.
you go with your beauty
and courage,
unmarred by sickness,
Untouched by swords.
alive and free. You, mistress of your own fate.
Passes no other mortal has passed before you.
O people of Thebes, is there no friend among you to rise at my banishment? Shall I go to the rock-hewn chamber of endless durance? In such a strange, cold tomb alone to linger?
Woman,
You have gone,
Your way.
to the outermost
limit,
of daring.
and have
Stumbled.
against,
Ball and throne.
but authority would not connive at disobedience.
You are the victim of your own will! I must go the path that lies before me. A journey that can be delayed no longer. But still, at my fate, no tear is shed. No morning music is played, and there is no friend to pursue my cause. So to my grave I go, enjoying the rest of my kinsmen, last and unhappiest before my time. Yet I believe that my father will be there to welcome me. My mother will greet me gladly, and you, my brothers, happy to see me come. Each one of you, my hands have laid to rest. And I have followed the path of equality and justice that you have taught me. Although all know it was a legitimate act, still Creon condemns me to a solitary death. What laws of heaven have I transgressed? What This is the will of the gods. And I shall learn my lesson through death. But if my punishment is unjust, then I wish him no worse ending than mine. God of our fathers, my home, my land, time stays no longer. I go now to my living death, for I have honored those things to which honor belongs.
Fellow countrymen, we greet you, my companion and I, who share the same pair of eyes on our journeys together.
You are welcome, Father Terry. What news do you have for us?
News you shall have, and advice too, if you can heed it.
There's never been a time that I have not attended your counsel. Is it priest?
Thereby have you thus far steered this land in a steady course.
We all do gladly attest to the debt we owe.
Then mark my words, for you stand at the razor's edge.
Indeed, grave words from your lips. What is your message?
You shall hear it. As I took my place at my seat of divination, where all birds are wont to gather within my ken, and where I sit and read the signs of heaven, there came to my ears the unfamiliar sound of birds in vicious combat. I could well gather that they were rending each other murderously with their talons. The whir of their wings told me no doubtful tale. Hearing these, I tested burnt sacrifice on the altar fire. There was no responding flame. Only rank juice oozed from the flesh, dripped among the ashes, smoked and sputtered. The gall was scattered to the air, and the streaming thighs lay bare of the fat that had been wrapped around them. Thus, through the eyes of my companion, I saw the failure of the rites by which I had made a quest. And it is your counsel that has brought this sickness on our state. For the altars of our city are tainted by the blood that dogs and vultures have licked up from the body of the son of Oedipus, and our prayers and sacrifices are no longer accepted. Mark this, my son. All men fall into misjudgment, but when an error has been made, the Maker is no longer witless or unblessed if he heals the ills into which he has fallen. Therefore do not remain stubborn. Pay to death its due. Stab not at the fallen, for it is not glory to kill an already dead man.
You take me for your target, Reverend Sir, like all those others. I know your craft, and how you try to make me your commodity, to trade me in for your own advantage. Trade me as you will, but keep this in mind, that all the silver of Sardis and all the gold of India will not buy a grave for that trader. Great and shameful is the fall of those old Tyreses who seek their own benefit.
Alas,
by
does
uttering-
anyone know? Does anyone consider the God?
What truth is it in your words?
What price outweighs the priceless worth of prudence?
I refuse to make a quarrel with you, priest.
You do so by accusing me of false prophecy.
I only say that all prophets seek their own gain.
And I say that all tyrants win the throne unrighteously.
Do you forget that you're speaking with your king?
No, for through my guidance you have saved this land.
You might be a wise priest, but not therefore an honest one.
Must I reveal to you my yet unspoken mind?
Reveal what you may, but expect no gain from it.
Hear this then. Before the chariot of the sun has rounded once or twice its wheeling way, you shall have given a son of your own loins to death, in payment for death. 2 debts to pay, one for the life you have sent to death, and another for the dead still lying upon the ground. There shall come a time when your house will be filled with the lamentations of men and women, and every neighboring city will be goaded to fury against you. For upon them too the pollution falls, when the dogs and vultures bring the defilement of blood to their hearths and altars. I have done as you have provoked me. These shafts of wrath will find their marks in your hearts. You cannot escape the sting of their sharpness, Creon.
The man has gone, my king, with dreadful prophecies, and no one has ever known his prophecies to prove false.
I know that. And now my heart is torn in two. It is hard to yield, but to break my pride by ruin with resistance, that too is a hard choice.
Creon, my good lord, it is your best to take a wise counsel.
What must I do? Tell me and I will do it.
Go and free the girl from her rocky prison and set up a tomb for the unburied dead.
And this is your counsel? You would have me yield?
Yes, and go quickly. Gods do not delay the stroke of their swift vengeance on the guilty one.
It is hard to submit, but I will do it if I must.
Go and do as he said.
I go as I am, unto the rocky prison. I will be present to release the maiden I myself in prison.
Dwellers of this 7-gated city, there is no state of mortal life that is settled and fixed, good or evil, to be praised or ridiculed. Fate raises a man to the height, and fate casts him down to the low, day after day. Creon was once an enviable man. He saved his country from his enemies. He assumed the royal throne and bore it well. He was once the honorable father of a kingly house. But now it is all lost.
What is your news? Disaster, I suppose, in the royal house.
Death. And the guilt of it on the living.
Who died?
Friends, I could not help but hear something of what you said as I opened my door on the way to pay tribute to the gods.
Your words have a tone of some calamity which frightens me. But say the news again, plainly, and I shall hear it as one who is no stranger to grief.
My dear lady, I am the one who saw it all, and I will tell you what happened. I attended your husband, the king, to the edge of the field where he lay the body of Polynices in a pitiable state, torn by the dogs. We prayed the gods in mercy to restrain their wrath. We washed the remains in holy water, and over a fire of fresh branches, we burned all that was left of him, and raised over his ashes a mound of his native earth. Then we turned toward the rock chamber where brave Antigone, the bride of death, was imprisoned. We had not yet reached close to it that we heard cries of lamentation.
Can my foreboding be true? Is this the most sorrowful journey I ever done? My son's voice greets me. Is it my son Herman that I hear? Or have the gods cheated my ears?
There, in the furthest corner of the cave, we saw her hanging by the neck, while Haman knelt at her feet.
My unhappy son, have you done? What madness brings you here?
The boy stared at him with fierce eyes, and without a word struck out with his sword. But the father fled. Then the angry boy drove his sword through his side, and as he fainted, he embraced his lover, tightened his arms, and the stream of blood painted her ashen cheeks. Corpse, enfolding corpse, they lay wed in death.
The sin of erring soul. Behold the slayer, the slain, the father, and the son. My son perished before his time, dead for my fault.
Now all too late, you see what seems right.
Pity me. I have learned my lesson in sorrow. The gods have delivered the heavy punishment upon my head. They have taken away the pleasures of my life.
Sire, you have this and more to regret, more pain to bear. You mourn one body, but soon you are to cry for another as well.
What? What pain can top the one I carry?
The queen is dead. Her womb and by her own hand.
What have you to say? You daughter of evil! I'm already dead, and you punish me more? More? Oh, grief! Is there no sword for me to end this misery?
You cannot escape the sting of their sharpness, Marion. He has no right to keep me from my own. Anything is better than to die in a hour.
It is I who killed him,
You shall give a son of your own loins.
my own son.
You shall give a son
And
of
she
your
slew
own loins to death.
My wife,
All tyrants with
my love.
unrighteous.
Come. My only happiness comes soon. Let me not see it another day. I don't know where I should turn and how to seek help. My fate is too heavy for me. I'm no longer a living man.
برگشت بگذاری